Welcome in, everybody. A little bit later than planned. Apologies. Southwest Airlines, you're on my naughty list. You lost me. I'm just saying. Very, 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 very long day for me yesterday. Over 13 hours to do what should have taken about 5. So it was one of those deals. Thank you for your patience. We appreciate you, Dan. Thank you for being able to relocate and do this tonight. We are going to answer your questions like it's a normal. We're just going to pretend it's a Monday night. It's going to be great. How you hanging in, Dave?
Oh, it's been fun trying to figure this all out. I'm sorry you guys didn't hear my thoughts after the game on Sunday. There's been a lot happening, but we're going to get everything on track. You still have video, film analysis tomorrow, so we're getting out everything there.
Rock and roll. Here we go. So tonight, Q&A, again, as though it were Monday night. We're going to answer your questions. You guys control the show. Bring us your questions. Hit that super chat. Every last one of those gets an answer tonight. And we're going to cover the rest of the topics. Can't guarantee everybody will get on screen, but if you have the same question as somebody else, we will do our best to get after it. So here we go. Good evening to you, Jordan. Talk us off the ledge. Watching the methodical Ravens, Lions, Bills march consistently down the field. It's beyond frustrating, and getting a first down seems like quicksand. This is difficult. There are 3 teams there. One the Chiefs are going to face next week that have the ability to just steamroll and march, and they don't have to have big plays. They don't have to have something go right or bring a spark. They're happy just getting 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 yards, a carry, a touch, whatever you want to call it, and grind teams down. Personally, I'm comfortable with that too, just in Andy Reid. So how big a challenge that is remains to be seen, because there are flaws in each of those teams as well. And for the Ravens in particular, I do think being able to control the quarterback is the key to that game, like it is in every other game. I'm still fairly confident. How are you, Dan?
I think, again, the defensive performance back-to-back weeks is what gives you confidence in that ability. And honestly, I said earlier after the week 1 loss that I didn't think that the run defense was predicated on them actually being a good run defense. It was more overcommitment. However, I think that what we saw against the Giants, even though they did have some success running the football, seemed to be more by design, in my opinion, was much better in terms of what they're doing schematically, what they're changing up front. I'm not happy with it, but we did see Charles Menahue play zero tech a couple of times, which I did not enjoy at all. But they're getting creative. They're trying different things. And, I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. So you got to deal with the run game. And I think that watching an offense just be comfortable going 5-6 yards at a time in the run game when they need to, they break off a big one every now and then, is something to be admired.
Yeah, I like consistency. There's something to be said for that comfortable consistency. But you know you're going to be able to get that. Now, raising that game becomes a little bit more difficult, like Scotty here, raising his game to include you, to hit that like button. We appreciate you. We're not the biggest channel. We're not the most outrageous channel, but we are the most honest channel. We're going to tell you if we don't know something. And like a lot of other channels out there, particularly covering this team, if we don't know what we're talking about on film, we're not going to say it. So just keep that in mind when you watch other people try to break down film who really don't understand the game. You're going to get misled. And I'm going to leave it at that, because I don't want to get salty, but I'm salty. So just let it be out there. Perry, looks like you had 2 parts. Should Andy take a look at how Spags is using the young guys to help, that has helped turn the D around, and use them on O? I don't think you can do that. I think they are 2 very different vibes and ways of doing things. And part 2, when did the RB coach start teaching guys to be turned the wrong way? And Perry, I think I don't know who put this out, but I've been asked this question like 5 times, turning the wrong way. There is no way to turn the wrong way. It depends on the play, and it depends on the placement of the ball. And if the quarterback puts a ball behind you and you've been taught to turn that way, it's a technique thing. I will say this: turning around your outside or upfield shoulder away from the defense, basically turning your back to the defense, does one thing, and it's a kind of an old school technique. I don't see it that much anymore, because it doesn't allow you to hit the hole as hard, but it does allow your offensive lineman to get farther out in front of you. And so it is a timing issue. I personally don't see it very often because it doesn't work as well. But the Chiefs' offensive linemen are very athletic, so I don't know if he was coached that way or whatever. Pops has his issues. I don't think that was necessarily all him, but we honestly won't know until we know. What did you take away from it?
He looks lost a little bit. I'll be very honest with you guys. Not just from that position, because typically when you see him do a little flare out to the flat, he does turn to the left. So if you go to the left, he'll turn to that way. That's how he turns. I don't know if that's a him thing or if it's how they coach him, but it's different with the way. I think even Kareem Hunt to an extent, depending on the route that they're running, if they're just running a flare, but if they are running more of that, not like a wheel, but I guess one's more of a flare when it's more of an arced angle and one's more of an out, I guess you can say. So
Mm-hmm.
I think when you see them running that short out to the flat, that's when you see them turn to the quarterback the opposite way. But if you see that more of a flare route where they open up this way and look for the ball over their shoulder that way, that's where you see the difference coming through. And obviously with him, getting hit by the offensive lineman and then falling and trying to get up. Orientation, you got no idea because you're now trying to get up and just trying to get back to the play.
But at the same time, it doesn't matter which way you turn. The ball's on the ground. Don't pick it up and then just throw it down again. It's a live damn ball, and you've played this sport long enough to know. That's the one that drove me nuts. Sorry, Perry. Tried to answer your questions without going crazy. But yeah, it's what happened after that part that really drove me nuts. 610 FM went in depth this morning on how we need to recognize that the O-line is struggling. The PFF grades are mostly good on all the line. So what are you seeing on the film as to the struggles? I don't know if PFF is watching the same thing as me, but at least the initial grades that I watched during the game, they're not grading correctly. What I see is a lack of coordination for the most part, where there's either too much gap in a split or there's not a quick enough handoff. We're not quite recognizing. Kingsley's playing too high. I will tell you that. He's still struggling to keep his pad level down. Juwan is Juwan. I know he had fewer penalties. He still doesn't look comfortable with that knee. I think there's a physical thing going on there. Overall, I still think Creed is the most consistent player on this offensive line. Everybody else is still trying to figure it out and bring it together. What do you think?
Honestly, I think from Creed to Josh Simmons, that left side, outside of some of the obvious struggles of Kingsley, which are to be noted, getting better week after week, they are. That's the most solid part of their offensive line. The guys on the right are having the worst problems. Guys you usually count on. Trey Smith has not played his best football. He looks like a rookie right now, his rookie self. He does not look comfortable. He looks more like the guy who was attacking and being pushed around. And we have to remember, with a grain of salt here, the offensive line has been through the ringer the last 2 weeks. The Eagles, defensive tackles, and the Giants, defensive tackles and defensive line is not an easy task. It's no excuse for a guy who just got paid what he got paid, personally. I don't believe it's an excuse, but that's what we are seeing right now. I will say this. Patrick Mahomes is not helping the offensive line. He is putting them in worse situations because he's jittery. He's jittery in the pocket because of what happened last year and some of the early losses that you'll see on Kingsley's tape. They had spooked him a bit in the pocket. It's fair, it's understandable, but there are times that Patrick makes the offensive line look worse than it actually is, in my opinion.
I think he settled down a little bit, and I think that will be a continued thing going forward. It's not going to get easier for Kingsley this week with Travis Jones in front of him, who's been playing pretty dang well. But
we'll see about
they have to continue to work as a fivesome. You know what I mean? You're part of a boy band. That offensive line needs to be together. I feel like Trey's trying to push to live up to his contract myself. I think he's overdoing it. I think he's overextending at times when he doesn't have to. So everybody needs to, relax. Just take a breath. It's going to be all right.
I know one thing that could help an offensive line get their continuity faster.
Run the ball maybe?
If they could run the ball.
What a damn idea. Now, that said, I will say that I was pleasantly surprised with what was it? It was a 38% run call share.
Yeah.
10 and 10 for the primary backs. Okay, they didn't get the efficiency out of it, but at least Andy went back to it. So I thought that was an encouraging sign. If they do that again, hopefully the execution will improve as well.
Yeah, and again, Kareem Hunt was the best of them, the most consistent, and unfortunately, he's just not explosive enough to really make it matter. He hits the right holes, but he's just too slow at this point. So, I mean, efficiency is the name of the game right now for them. If they're not going to bring Brashard Smith along, fast enough early in the season, then it's going to be Kareem Hunt. It's going to give you the most efficient workload.
And for those of you out there thinking, and I've been asked this several times, I know I don't think Clyde is the answer.
No.
I just don't see it there. But there are other ways to acquire backs that can give you something. So we're going to speed up. I know you guys have a ton of super chats in. We're coming to it. Micah also asked, Isaiah likely makes his debut Sunday. Chiefs have struggled guarding him. Likely had a fifth metatarsal in his foot. Will he be 100%? Probably not, but he will be enough that with some cortisol or maybe some other interesting things, he'll be able to play through it. And given the week that Andrews just had, I think you have to watch out for both of them. So Chamari Connor, I'm looking at you. Hicks, I'm looking at you. CRW needs to play more. He earned that last week. How they choose to deploy them is going to be interesting because I think especially Hicks and Chamari, I think, are probably the best options to spy Lamar when you want to do that rather than the linebacker.
I don't disagree with that at all. Noah Williams is also earning more reps. I don't care about the penalties, guys. The first one was nonsense, by the way. The illegal contact was nonsense. He didn't do anything wrong in that rep at all. He was with the receiver. They were both pushing each other. There was nothing really wrong there. But in order to be able to get after these tight ends, you got to stay with them. You have to have the physical presence of a Chamari Connor, of Jaden Hicks to be able to stay in that hip pocket. I also think Noah Williams might give you a little bit of something against an Isaiah Likely if you want to do something a little bit different.
Yeah, I like changing it up. Swag, I still don't trust the offense. Okay, fair. Out of the plays that there were maybe 2 drives total that I liked, the offense still is stale and was terrible most of the game. I thought that opening drive in the second half was really setting the pace. That's what they needed to do. So I'm glad that they did, but yeah, there's still a ways to go, Swag. I will not argue with you. And I know you have a couple more, as does Micah. I want to get to Angler here because he's been waiting for a while. Is no playing more freeing up McDuffie? And that's what's going to be, I think, seen this week is if McDuffie stays on Zay Flowers, especially when he's in the slot, because Noel's on the field more.
Yeah, and that's something that I actually bring up in my film breakdown for tomorrow about the snaps that are going up for Noel Williams and how McDuffie, that's kind of directly translates to McDuffie playing a little bit more in the slot. And I do think that they were pushed to play Noel a little bit more than they wanted to because of the injury and conditioning problem with Christian Fulton. However, it's working. And I will say I give Jalen Watson a lot of credit. He's playing better. He's playing much better football than he did in that week 1. I think that everybody kind of woke up after week 1 a little bit where they got their asses handed to them by a division opponent and they didn't look comfortable, where at least on the defensive side, it appears that the game is playing better for them and they seem to be in better positions. So Noel Williams is playing more because he has to, and he's continuing to earn it. And then you've got Jalen Watson playing well. And the fact that they deployed Chamari Connor as a safety and not so much as a nickel improved the defense.
Oh, my Lord. It's only like we've been asking for this since, mid last season. Spags, never mind. We have a lot more super chats to come, but we got to get you. If you want in the action, ProfitX is the way to go. ProfitX, America's #1 sports prediction market, is a peer-to-peer sports prediction market where users play against each other instead of a sports book versus the house. You will almost always get the best price on any spread, money line, total, or player prop since you're playing against other people rather than the book. ProfitX offers dual currency system, either Profit Points or Profit Cash, and operates across 40 states. Use the promo code RGR and claim up to $200 in Profit Cash on all plays for the first 30 days playing on the site. ProfitX gives you the best lines in the space, and you can even set your own odds on specific wagers on your players, all at ProfitX. Go there and use the code RGR. Terms and conditions apply. They certainly do. And so does this one. Thank you, Knicks, man. Appreciate your support like you always do. The fact that they have the same record at this point, I expected this to be the matchup of the front 4 games, right? Even more so than the Chargers. But the fact that they both struggled and they both got into this 1-2 place, it does look like it's more consistent for the Ravens. But that fact alone, that you could be in the same situation trying to get to 2-2, I think does even things a little bit in terms of the mentality that you take into the game.
I agree. Can everybody hear me, by the way? Does this sound better than it did?
Yeah, maybe a bit.
Okay. With earbuds, you never really know what's going to happen there. So, yeah, and I was trying to fix that during this whole portion. So I apologize, Knicks fan. Thank you for the super chat. It's a weird situation to find themselves in where they're both 1-2, and one of these teams is going to be 1-3 after this game. That's a weird situation to find yourselves in. It's going to create a little bit of desperation, I think, on both sides, because these two teams were in the postseason last year. The Ravens were a 2-point conversion drop away from going to the AFC Championship game, and if you're 1-3, statistically speaking, your season is almost over.
Yeah. I think you're absolutely right. And I want to follow up on Knicks fans' questions here. Really, we kind of addressed that with Pacheco, but yeah, these are both plays that Mahomes knows better, should be better. And I think, again, as Dan said, a little jittery, little pressure in his face, and he's leaning back and he's throwing backward a little bit too much rather than escaping back where he needs to with that extra step. So you're still throwing forward. That's important.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Micah, do you like the pressure and text from the D on Sunday, or was Russ holding the ball too long? It was a bit of both. Kudos to the guys for getting after it a little bit more, but I do think that it was partially Russ. I mean, that's what happened. Jackson Dart is a starter in New York now because of it.
Yeah, I break this. I kind of go into how the Chiefs handled Malik Neighbors, how they were able to force some uncomfortable situations with a good run defense. We get into some of the turnovers, how they were created, some of the sacks, things like that. We're all getting into all that on Wednesday in the film review. So just know that Steve Spagnuolo understands Russell Wilson very, very well at this point in his career, and the game plan was executed to near perfection.
That always helps. I mean, that's really the goal of every coach every time. So Andy's refusal to run the ball is aggravating, said Swag. Pat looked rattled in the first half, and Andy's refusal to run to help him pissed me off. Is Andy's stubbornness is going to annoy me? And it should. But as I said earlier, like he did actually increase his play call. Yes, it was a little bit more in the second half, and it was after they kind of settled down and got rolling in that second half. But let's hope that he comes around. What I hope is that he doesn't abandon it this week, because he sees an opportunity to take the time, because it's going to be a little bit less explosive for the Ravens. They're going to be a little bit more methodical, and he's going to want to react like that. So he's just got to be patient. And that's the same for Andy as it is for any player.
Yeah, I think that we might not be seeing a lot of it because they don't trust the guys they have. I think that might be more of the problem. And again, that's a whole other situation. If you come into this season with that running back room thinking you're okay, that's a different problem than getting here and realizing, oh, we can't really run the football. But I don't know if it's necessarily the offensive line's issue. I think that the running backs are kind of a problem.
Yeah, I hear you. Info wants when everybody's back, Hollywood Brown to be receiver 6. It's hard to say that Thornton, Royals, and Juju should all take his snaps because you haven't even seen Royals yet. Neither have I. Yeah. So info, I'm not with you on that one. Yak is one thing. Hollywood has never been a yak guy. That's not what he was brought here to do. No. He is to exploit the defense in ways that gets him behind it, not through it. So I feel like he's performing as his role should be. Do you think he's not?
Yeah, I also think that he's kind of more of a possession guy at this point. He's not going to be – I think his speed is even a little bit diminished from last year. The injuries have kind of really caught up to him, in my opinion. He's still fast, obviously, but you don't really see the ability to just kind of stack guys vertically and win. You see that from Tyquan Thornton, who is balling out, by the way. He's having a fantastic season with Kansas City, and this is something that you want to see. The guy that he was at Baylor, he's doing it here. And that's exactly what you want in this offense. And if the Chiefs get Xavier Worthy back for this game against the Ravens, those two guys are going to cause some problems.
They probably are. I'm a little worried about Xavier's injury, to tell you the truth. Starting to change in the hardware on his shoulder, making me a little nervous. But hey, they certainly can exploit, and he can run. He doesn't have to catch or get hit.
Correct. We'll talk about use him as a decoy.
Right. We'll talk about the hitting on Friday, folks. Why do they insist on running tight end screens? Because you have some guys that should be able to exploit it. The problem is you ain't blocking it up for crap. That's my opinion.
It's not good. And it's like, honestly, it looks so obvious when they run tight end screens. And I'm going to take this moment here to call out Travis Kelce, who doesn't look bad athletically, but he's not giving you effort. He's not. He is. I watched him these last couple of weeks ignore blocks. Just straight up ignore them. I don't want to do this. That's what it looks like right now. I'm going to retire after this year. I don't want to block anymore. And with a tight end room that you have, you can't afford that. Maybe he's frustrated because he can't physically do it anymore. Sorry, buddy. Find a way. You're out there. You're going to be on the field. You find a way to block somebody. Get in the way. Hell, I don't care. But right now, he looks like he has no interest in doing that, which is negatively impacting everybody else's want to block for him in tight end screens. It's also not, like I said, it's obvious when they do it. He's just standing there. Like he's like, "Hi guys, I'm going to get the ball. I'm right
Right.
here."
Can you see me in the back? Oh, well, hopefully they can round that out because it does. He does have skill set, and at times he still looks explosive. It's just not every down. And I think part of why he's pissed off on the sidelines because he doesn't have it every play like he used to. So
Yeah.
dumb it down. Less plays. Donnie, thank you for the support, pal. Two things. Leo play on the line looked cool. And is it me or is Brian Cook playing better when playing closer to the line of scrimmage? It is definitely not you. That is what Brian Cook does. That's what Jaden Hicks does. That's what Shamari Connor does. The only guy who's comfortable in deep space is CRW, and amazing how that shit happens when you let the guy do what he can do. Am I missing anything?
I know we've covered this, guys. We talked about all these guys' strengths and what they should be doing. And lo and behold, here it is. This is the exact situation, the exact what we told you should happen with these guys. And CRW should be playing more. And yeah, he's playing safety, fine. But guess what? He's playing well. And
yeah,
it's frustrating to watch all of the things that we say about these players come to fruition. And sometimes being too close to the situation can cloud your judgment a little bit. We've seen that happen. But when you take a step back and you look at what they do, it's quite obvious that when you keep drafting the same types of players that are better at coming downhill or rotating down or playing in a box or a hole defender, it's hard to find guys that can be a true free safety or at least give you some of that feel. So, and to your point, Donnie, about Leo, he's already played 32 snaps this season on the defensive line. That's one because they have to. They lost.
true.
They lost FAU, and they haven't really had anybody to give you anything else as much as they really need to. But it allows them to be pseudo base, pseudo nickel, so they can do a lot of different things. And I think that the process that Leo has gotten to with his zone coverage has given them the ability to say, okay, we can do this. We can live this because he can physically stand up as a defensive end in the run game, which is obvious. He can do that. But also, he has the athletic ability now and the understanding of where he needs to be in zone. So it allows them to just kind of shift in their parts and their sets out of necessity, but also because he's doing a really good job.
No, I'm with you. Thanks, Donnie. Scott, what ways can they evolve their use to Thornton after Worthy and Rice return? Well, it's going to be two things. One, he's got to diversify his route tree. If you have Xavier Worthy going deep, if you have Rashee Rice slanting, doing a dig, whatever, there's that intermediate over route at like 20 yards, 22 yards that he's going to be perfect for because he doesn't have to change direction sharply. He can round it off. He can do some of those things that I think are going to pay off. But the other thing is that you double down and you go more and more and more. He and Worthy deep streaks together, try to get those safeties to commit and then split. Like there's a lot of things you can do with Thornton now.
Yeah, there's again, you line them up on the same side. You get Rashee Rice on the other side. You run to the opposite sides of the safety, and then you have the dig underneath. We are talking about legitimate deep opportunities and then intermediate throws. You could have Hollywood on those intermediates. You could have Juju, who looks rejuvenated on those intermediate throws. There's a lot you can do with this. Jalen Royals, who can give you yards after catch when he's healthy. Like, if everyone gets to that point, right, there's a lot you can do with them as long as Tyquan Thornton continues to play with the confidence he's playing with right now.
Yeah, I agree. And just let it grow. It seems like everybody's behind it. So, Hunter, I'm curious your early season grades on the rookie class. I think there are a few bright spots outside of obvious Josh Simmons. Yeah, I give Josh Simmons a B+. I think he's doing great. I think Ashton's probably pulling B-, something like that. He's not being asked to do a ton, but I think he's doing pretty good. Royals obviously doesn't have a lot. Smith, I think he's doing what he's been asked. What else do you think about the rookies?
It's hard to give Royals. Obviously, you can't give him anything right now because he hasn't done anything. It's hard to talk about Brashard Smith because he's not active yet in the offense. And again, this is probably by design. And Andy Reid's waiting, and he wants to have him learn more about the offense. But the guys at the top, I think Noah Williams is still getting better and better and better. If I give him a B minus, B right now. I think we're heading in that B plus direction. And Ashton is Ashton. He is what he is, and I don't have an issue with that because he plays hard, he plays tough, and he plays with a lot of energy. But you're still not seeing enough pass rush at all from him. So it's right now it's early for a lot of these guys, and obviously aside from Josh Simmons, everyone I think right now is doing what they are being asked to do at an admirable job.
Yeah, I agree with you. Admirable is the way that you got to go about things. Everybody has to go to work, and it's admirable to go with Brunt. Have other boot brands that you experienced taking a long time to break in? Choosing work boots used to mean sacrificing comfort or durability. If they're good, they didn't last, and if they lasted, they wrecked your feet. Brunt thought that was all BS, so they built boots tough and give you a great feel from day one. No break in, no sore feet, because people out there doing the real work shouldn't have to choose between comfort and durability. I wear these because they just get things done. You can see in their quality across the board that comfort is part of it, but so is all the toughness that you're looking for. Brunt was tired of workwear brands out there cutting corners. You work too hard to get stuck in uncomfortable boots that don't hold up. So they built something better, boots that are insanely comfortable for any job site right now. For a limited time, our listeners get $10 off of Brunt when you use the code RGR at checkout. Just head to bruntworkwear.com and use the code RGR, and you're good to go. And after you order, they'll ask you where you heard about Brunt. Do us a favor and tell them that it was from RGR. Please, that would help. I like that. Chess Master, is there any chance that Brashard Smith takes the backfield anytime soon? Can you give him the ball in the same type of carries as Hunt and Pops? No, you cannot. He cannot go bash through the interior inside zone and hope to survive for very long. He's not a between the tackle kind of guy. He's going to be a change of pace. But good Lord, he's got to get a better share of it. I mean like soon, right?
At least a little bit. And I'll be honest, guys. You can still hand him the ball inside every now and then. I have no problem doing that. You do want to test what he's capable of doing. I think the longer you hold him out of it, the worse it's going to be. You got to know. You got to find out. And in my opinion, when you're sitting around with Kareem Hunt and the apparent ghost of Isaiah Pacheco back there, like it's not looking good for your run game.
Yeah, I agree. I would just I'll experiment with that next year. I'm gonna let that go for now if it's me. Minotaur, thank you, buddy. 4 years in our memberships. If you guys don't know about the memberships, you can get into them. You get extra content. You get our real thoughts, our rants, all that stuff over in there. I get the rookie level or above, and you're in. Are we gonna see some Tanyan? Maybe some more Brashard. Yeah, great to see y'all. And as always, this channel is fire. Thank you, Minotaur. So are you, and thanks for always supporting us. Tanya's the big question for me. I feel like this is Andy being Andy. Like, I'm just going to hide the guy that I know I'm going to go to in December and definitely in January as my, oh, you don't have an answer for this when I throw a second tight end that can catch passes downfield. I just think it's wasting it right now.
Yeah, maybe. And at the end of the day, we don't really know what it's going to look like that when everyone gets healthy. They want to be able to run 13 personnel, 12 personnel. Like that's what they want to be able to do. It's kind of like the thing right now in the NFL because it also allows you to be multiple in the run game, which the Chiefs haven't been able to do. So it's a tough spot that they're in to be able to consistently put out Noah Gray, which again who had a better game against the Giants. He found some space. Travis isn't playing up to his standard as well. So like you're just trying to figure some things out with that. Hopefully Brashard gets more, but at the end of the day, I think Tanya needs to get some targets to get his confidence back.
Yeah, God, I kind of feel like that too. And like you would think a guy that age didn't need to get confidence back, but it appears that it's there. Quick shout out to all of our mods that are in here. I think I saw Cole earlier. Gary's in here. FLDB's in here. Appreciate you guys and thanks for riding with us like you always do. It's nice to see you. We're going to keep burning through here, folks. Assuming that there's not enough room for the trade deadline to move, what do you think is the most likely? And what would you do yourself? Well, right now, Kenneth, they'd have to rework somebody's contract. They have $2.8 million when I last checked against the salary cap. I will recheck that while we're on here, but it ain't much, and that really hamstrings you.
Yeah, and that's kind of the problem, right? You've gone into this situation to being where you are, and you don't have a lot of wiggle room. So you have to rework things. And obviously, before anybody understands if they're going to make a move, they would probably have to be able to move some things around and figure those things out. So that's just the nature of the beast.
And I was incorrect. It's just a shade over 3 million in cap space, 3,080,000. So I was a little off there, but not enough to make it like something else that's doable. So it just makes it tough. Jeremy, thank you, buddy, and thank you, Kenneth. What should I take away from 15 checking away from 87 on the Thornton TD, and then the triple pump to 85 has 15 realized 87 is slowing down partially, and I do think that that miss that caused the turnover into the defender's hands, off of Travis's hands, I think that was Patrick placed a ball where he normally places it on that route, and Kels wasn't there at the same time like they normally are. I think they're seeing a little slippage of their timing, and neither one of them is adjusting very well for it yet.
Yeah, I think they're both pressing a little bit, which doesn't help the situation. They want things to be perfect. And I think when Patrick is pumping, it's hard for him to know where exactly to be. Because at the same time, you want to be stopped in the zone. But if Patrick is like kind of shifting a little bit here or there and he's pumping, you're just trying to keep moving so someone's not right in your hip pocket, right? Unfortunately, it ended up being a situation where they're a little bit off, and we've seen it multiple times now. Hopefully, they can figure that out, though.
Yeah, I hope so. I think it will go through the season, and it'll get incrementally better. But at some point, they're going to have to start saving Travis for the postseason. Alex, Ravens defense is so bad. Can we score 30 on them? If they play like they did in the second half, particularly the third quarter, yes. If they don't, and they get in their own way, or they allow too much pressure quickly, Pat, when cap clean, 2.12 time to throw on those passes. If you can do that, you're in business, because that rhythm, and I know people don't want the quick game because it's generally shorter passes, that set up the rest of the game. It set up those deep passes, and it just wears the defense out. 3 of the worst grades on the Baltimore Ravens last week was Kyle Hamilton, Malachi Starks, and Marlon Humphrey. Attack those guys.
Yeah, I think that we're probably going to see a bounce back game from Kyle Hamilton. He's too good of a player for that not to happen. While Malachi Starks is still a rookie, so you have to remember that. And I think that this point in his career, Marlon Humphrey has some football left in him, but it's not what it used to be. So you can find ways to attack them with speed specifically, and confusions like crossing routes and overs and trying to get their communication screwed up with the rookie as well as Marlon Humphrey. So I don't know if this Chiefs team is equipped to score 30 at this point, but I think that they have the at least tools to try, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm with you. Black and Gold, thank you, buddy, and thanks for being a member. Why is it this offense continues to look shaky and settled to start the game off? It was a common theme last season as well, and that's the pregame preparation. I'm personally concerned, and Dan, you might totally disagree with me, but I think guys are more worried about they wear on the way into the damn stadium than they are about the first drive.
That's kind of what it looks like, right? And I mean, the first drive got a little bit better. Like they went down and they stalled, but they did get better, right? It was they moved the ball, they kicked a field goal, but it's tough right now. Everything seems a little tough when they're starting out, when they're unable to really move the football the way they want to, be as explosive as they want. It's a weird situation to find themselves in, which this was a team that used to just go down on the first possession and score very routinely, and right now they are very much not doing that. So I think that when you see adjustments being made in game, when you see problems that are coming up because continuity is an issue, because timing is an issue, because guys that were in practice aren't on the field, they get hurt. Like there's a lot that does go into that, but the guys out there still have to execute.
Yeah, bottom line, there's absolutely no way around that. Overall, what do you think it's going to take to beat them, Dan?
I just think that it's going to take a defensive effort. You still have to rely on the defense. You have to stop them from scoring as much as they did. Like you have to. And there's no other way around this, that they've got to continue to get better offensive line wise, keep growing every single week. Just continue to put that in the back of your head. Keep getting better. Keep running the ball. If you're getting 3 yards a carry, you still have to put that out there a little bit every now and then to force that defense to just hold on enough to respect it. And then at the execute. If you execute, then you probably will be able to be in a position to win that football game.
Oh, my lights are losing it over here. Sorry, pal.
That happens. maybe.
Rob wants to know from you, Dan. What do you think the Isaiah World, the right tackle for next year, the Oregon Ducks?
He has not had the greatest year so far. Brandon Thorne, who works over at the Bleacher Report as well, is having a trouble with him as well. So we're not exactly on the page right now. There's a lot of talent, a lot of upside there, but he hasn't had the best start, and they also haven't been playing anybody yet. So better competition against Penn State coming up, I believe, this weekend might show some more glaring issues.
Yeah, it's hard for me to say this, but Ducks Big Ten matchups are going to be more important. I still say Pac. I must have said Pac-10 or Pac-12 and Pac-10 at least 3 times last weekend because that's what
It's
I
weird,
grew up
yeah.
on. Would Spags? Thank you, Nathan. Would Spags actually play him, or would he make a large impact on the Chiefs if the Chiefs pursued Kevin Thibodeau trade? Would be excited if he was a Chief. I'm still not terribly impressed with Thibodeau. I think he's okay. He's not reached what his potential was when he came out. He's nowhere near the player that he was at the college level, and seem. I think people are anointing him a little early for my liking.
I think he's having a good start to the season. But when you have 5th overall on your resume and you have the struggles that you have early on, it's hard to really access that point, right? So I think he has played better, and he was being moved around a lot, and he did have some impact on the football game. But realistically speaking, I don't think that he would be somebody that they look for to be trade, only because you'd have to probably still give up a top 50 pick to go get him. You'd probably also have to extend him, and he hasn't necessarily been the best locker room player either. So I mean, you could probably talk me into it, Nathan. Would I be excited? I don't know yet, but I think that there's room to be excited about a possibility of somebody with that kind of pedigree.
Here, twist my arm. That's what Dan's saying. Make it happen. Who do you think has shown the most growth so far this season and gives us hope that the team can continue to get better and better? Thanks, Kenneth. Appreciate you. Anybody stand out to you?
The most growth. I still think right now, based off of college football tape, right? Josh Simmons is playing at really a top tier level for the Chiefs offensive line. They've done a really good job of developing him and letting him play, be healthy. Development growth. It's a tough situation for a guy who gets drafted in the 2nd round. Patriots go up and go get him. Tyquan Thornton, I think he's playing extremely good football. Like, it's hard to rebound off of, how he was used and the confidence, like shaky stuff. But him talking about how the Chiefs took practice in comparison to how the Patriots did over the past couple of seasons is kind of something you should pay attention to, that it doesn't go unnoticed that the Chiefs at least do things the right way in practice. Maybe they don't execute all the time in the games, but it's noticeable when players come to Kansas City and they are actively working on things in practice, and it shows.
You named the guy I was going to name, so well done. Donnie, thank you, buddy. And I hate that they threw a flag on Kareem for the celebration after the touchdown. That was some clown stuff by the refs. I actually disagree. He did the whole slash maneuver.
Yeah.
It's been outlawed for like 5 years. He should know better than that.
That's the thing. You just can't do it, guys. Like, they all know now. You can't be doing that stuff.
Yeah, come on. That's about being a professional. Info, thank you, buddy, and thank you both for the great content. Well, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Info.
We only make it so you guys can ingest it. We couldn't do it without you, so thank you. Scott, what to do about Butker? And I've been trying to stay away from this because I'm generally I don't have much patience for specialists. You only have one damn job. You're not an actual football player, so I don't have much room in my life for guys who don't do their job. But as good as he is on the tough stuff, he keeps missing these easy things. Where are you on him?
I think it's
you muted. Oh,
starting to, the alarm bells at least should be. I think the alarm bells need to be quietly ringing, just a little bit here. It's everywhere else too. Like, the offense isn't executing, and obviously the defense had a rough start to the year. But if it's continuing it's continuing. We're seeing more
Yeah.
things. And again, you guys know how I feel about extra points. I don't care about the extra points personally at all. It's about the field goals. It's your job. And if you can't, if going to a knee, I guess, was what was working best, go back to doing that. Like if that's really what you got to do, just go back to it. But right now, it doesn't look like it's a consistent good thing for him, which is again, it's alarming.
Yeah, I agree. Can the Chiefs bully the Ravens D line with power runs? Second part with Andy, stick with it. Yeah, that's true, Isaac. If he does stick with it, it'll have a better chance. I will say this: Kingsley's going to need some help because I think Travis Jones is a load, and I think he already plays lower than Kingsley's used to, and Kingsley's pads are pretty high for me. So I do think part of the run game has to be doubling him with Creed. And normally I would say that it's the tackle and the guard, but now it's the guard and the center that I think this week has to take a little bit of a precedence. What do you think?
Um, it's tough. I think that he had some really promising reps against Dexter Lawrence in this football game against the Giants, but it's inconsistent, right? It's not a habit yet. He has not formed the habit of playing with really good pad level. He's never really had to do it. So playing guard, pad level is far more important in the run game than blocking down as a tackle. So there are different things you have to learn as a guard, and he is still learning. But I think that I don't know if they'll be able to bully the defensive line because that's just not a mentality that Andy Reid and Andy Heck currently have with this offensive line. I think that they could if they really wanted to. But that's not something that we have seen right now as a consistent thing in the Chiefs offensive line. But no, Andy won't stick with it anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, right. Bottom line, that's what it comes down to. Hanneman, nice to see you. Do you agree that Omar had a good game? I would actually, and not just like it wasn't statistically that outrageous, but I felt like he generally played better positioning. I think he got some push. I think he played the run a little bit better myself. I didn't see him disengage as much as I'd like, but
Mm-hmm.
I think he's making progress.
Yeah, and I think he's getting healthier. Like that's the most imperative thing for
Mm.
me is that he's getting healthier. He looks comfortable. He's playing better at one tech. I still wish they wouldn't have had him put on as much weight as he did, but at the same time, I think that there are some results out there. So he's doing what he can. He's flashing the right spots. He's taking one-on-ones and taking control of them. So I like seeing that. But the pass rush stuff is going to have to be. It's going to have to come along. He's going to have to get used to playing a little bit heavier and maybe not having the exact same juice that he did.
At least for now. We'll see what they do when they revamp that position. But credited with 5 pressures on 22 pass rush snaps. I can't really argue with that at all.
I'm not
That's a
sure I
hell of a
saw
rate.
all of them personally, but he was better.
Yeah, I agree. DC, nice to see you. Why is this offense so basic and vanilla? Andy Reid showing no creativity or misdirection. Surely we have the personnel to do something, anything. Thank you for being a member and thank you for your support tonight. That's really the question. Is Andy's just kind of hiding stuff? They thought they'd get a little tricky with Xavier. I was glad. I was personally glad to see Remigio get a jet sweep. I usually hate jet sweeps, but they
Yeah,
need to do something to jazz it up a little bit, right?
yeah, they did. And I was the first 2 weeks we didn't see it at all, and then they bring one out finally. I think that they do need to incorporate at least a little bit, some kind of misdirection speed option in their run game, just because they don't have it if they're not using Brashard Smith in those traditional senses. So I do think that you'll see a little bit more creativity. I thought that the fake swing pass to Brashard Smith that ended up turning into a screen for Juju Smith-Schuster almost. That was cool as well. There were some creative things in this game, some creative calls. So they had to rework their plan without Xavier Worthy. That not only affects the first week, but you have to figure out now in the second week, what are these players good at in this role, in this situation? And in the third week, I think we saw them get more comfortable with putting those players in those positions.
Yeah, I like that. Sugary, thank you for being a member. Who do you think will be the wild cards in the AFC this year? I think it will be the Broncos, the Chargers, and the Texans. What do you got?
You think the Texans are going to make it? Oh boy! After an 0-3 start, I don't think so.
I don't know. I
I
got a faith
don't.
in the kid.
I think that the Ravens are going to be a wild card team, but they still very well easily could win that division. Actually, looking at that division, they probably win it. So that's never even at 1-3, I think they probably can still win that division. So never mind on that. Oh, Broncos for sure. Right now, I would say the Chiefs will be a wild card in the AFC. I think that the Chargers are playing really good football. I mean, it's right now. I can only go based off of what I've seen. Um, and I'm going to say the Jags. I think the Jags can get it there.
Ah, okay. I thought I was out on a limb with the Texans, but okay. I probably should have mentioned either the Steelers or the Ravens as well. But my point was, I still think the Chiefs can pull off this this division title. So that's where I'm sitting right now. Can our wide receivers run their routes fully and stop quitting on the time? It seems like they do that a lot. Your thoughts? I haven't noticed it as much. I know some will. I think the bigger concern is that I think I've seen the tight end do that a few times.
Yeah, that's more of the area that I was going with earlier in some of that. So, um, I don't know if they're necessarily not running routes to their fullest extent. I think there's a difference between stopping and trying to find that soft spot, and a difference between just completely giving up on the route. Between running through, you're not always trying to run through. You're trying to breed leverage and stop in the right spots, and Patrick can see you. So it's there's a lot more, I think, eloquence to being able to understand what's going on on the field with stopping in the right spots. But I also think that there might be some confusion on what they're asked to do because everyone has to do more as a wide receiver right now. So they might not necessarily entirely grasp what they're supposed to do in each spot that they're in.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Hopefully that comes together and they get it sorted so they can move forward. Thanks, Brett. Appreciate you. Beach, thank you, buddy, and thanks for the support. Is it me or are we missing a legit blocking tight end / fullback? And the answer is yes. I think Tanya's probably still the best of this tight end group, but they're not using him for that. I think it was about 50-50 split of the 8 snaps he's played that he was blocking or not, and they haven't used the fullback at all. I'm frustrated.
Yeah, that's a tough spot. They don't really want to be out there with a fullback, but we look around the league. Everyone's kind of using a fullback now, or at least a tight end that is an H back. Like it's starting to come back around. So Ryan has been asking for it for a while, and that's what we're seeing come back on the round on the guitar, right?
And you have a perfectly good fullback. Use the kid, for the love of God. Is Derrick Henry being a fumble maniac, says FLDB. Thank you, buddy. All of a sudden a trend, or do you think that it's just unlucky? I know that the defenders did a great job of getting the ball out. And that's kind of where I was leading, is like it was more on the guys trying to stop him that were being opportunistic, but that means that he wasn't holding on to it that well either. So I got to say that it's probably a trend.
Yeah, just a little bit. It's we'll find out. I think he can still correct it because he is one of those guys. He's an alien at the running back position, but I think a little bit over time. He does play high because he's a big guy. It's hard to at Derrick Henry's size. It's hard not to. So you have more opportunities to punch that football out. So I think everyone's trying harder to do that because he is bigger. He's got more tread on the tires, and we just might see a couple more flop, come on out.
I like the idea. Will, thank you. Appreciate you. Will trading for a true RB1 help the spacing? I want to see Casey spread things out more horizontally, as well as stretching the field vertically. I don't think so. They still want to run shotgun runs. They're not going to run a ton of toss sweep as much as I want them to. I don't think getting a different running back is really going to change the way Andy wants to run the offense. Do you disagree?
No, I don't. But we don't really see them with the top tier type of running back talent. So that's another thing. Maybe it would look different if he did, but he doesn't. And I don't think you can trade for someone like that in the season to be able to really test it out. And we know that Andy eases guys in anyway. So it's kind of a slippery slope, William.
Yeah, that's fair. Bump up. Can we rely on Rashid saving the offense first game back off of a major knee injury? I don't think Worthy will do much this season. Unfortunately, the injury sucks. The injury's tough. It's difficult for him to extend. And I will say this: any rest that they give him now, I think, is probably better for him and for the team in the long run. So if it does drag out, I'm not going to be too concerned about that. But she looked really good in camp. So I think you can kind of plug him back in as long as he hasn't gotten too out of shape during the suspension, right?
Yeah, that's really all you're looking for, which I don't think he has. He's taken it very seriously, at least from everything that we've heard. They're looking forward to getting him back in the room. And yeah, he wasn't just looking good. He looked back to his old self. Like he looked explosive. This wasn't like an ACL tear for him. It was a little bit different. And the explosiveness was still there. He looked very good in the preseason. And so I'm not worried about it personally.
Okay. I'm going to look this one up for Angler. Just your gut feeling. I'm going to say 50-50.
I think I'm right there with you about 50-50. It's it can go anywhere from this point on. I still think that they have the chance, they have the capability, the talent to do so. It's going to take a big effort from everybody else. It's going to take a big effort. They've got both the Ravens and then the Lions 2 weeks after them on the schedule soon. And they've got to be able to pull it together to be able to make a run because if you don't win these early games and show that you have life, it's going to be tough for them.
Okay, I am looking this next one up. Can you hit it for me?
Yeah, I got you, Quentin. I appreciate the super chat very much. Thank you. Angler has a question here, one of our members. I know they bracketed Neighbor some, but was Watson or McDuffie on him more?
So I don't have snap counts, but I do have target counts. And so McDuffie was not on him on any of the targets. Noel Williams had the most, 2. He did give up 1 reception, but Watson, Cook, and Hicks each had him again. So again, the physicalness of using the bigger safeties, I think, was part of the plan. And I will keep digging to see if I can find out any more of those reps there. Angler, appreciate you, bud. Is there any way that Jalen plays in the slot, Noel Williams plays on the outside, and we force balls towards Williams to get that robber roll downhill to the ball? I like the concept, Tommy, but you're asking to get exploited on whip routes and slant routes if you put Jalen inside. I just don't think he's quick enough to survive in there.
He's a little too boxy. He doesn't have that lateral agility to stay with some of those quicker guys, much like we see with Jamar Connor. So again, it's not a bad idea, but I think you'd be better if that was the idea you wanted to stick with. I think you're better off putting Noah Williams in that spot because he can at least do that a little bit better. But at the end of the day, Trent McDuffie is the best nickel you have, and then I would say again, CRW was the second best that you have, but he's playing safety.
Let Jalen man the outside. He took the deep ball well. He was
Yep.
physical in the short routes last game. I think he can play his role well enough to help you. I do like that. KB, thank you. I'm learning a lot from you and appreciate you. Juwan, and thank you for that. Juwan looks like he doesn't care about the results penalties. What can a coach do? Is Jalen Moore a bust? He is not a bust. I think if we see another game where Juwan regresses, we might see Jalen Moore at this point because it's just too costly when you're making mental mistakes at a 6-year veteran.
Yeah.
That you can't have that. You're getting paid $27 million this year. Pull it together for the love of everything holy.
Yeah, it's hard, man. It's hard to be in this position where he's not like bad in pass protection, but he's getting beat regularly in the run game, and the mental mistakes they're too much. And this is what I talked about. Like this is even if we take the knee injury for what it is, if it is hampering him more, then why is he out there still? Like at this point, you have to change something.
I agree. Folks, last call for Super Chats. We are going to wrap it up here shortly. Tommy, we got to attack the edge, right? I mean, you do, but it's got to be quick attacks as far as I'm concerned. You want to get away from the interior, I think, and you only have Rashard Smith in the running in the backfield. So I think like that slant game's got to come in, but you got to be wary of Marlon and of Hamilton. Starks is a good player. I don't think that I'm as scared of him, but you got to watch out you don't get somebody else crushed by the big DBs.
Yeah, that's right. And I think right now Nate Wiggins is playing excellent football. He's having a really good year, and you probably want to stay away from him as much as you can, unless you can isolate him in some two-way go situations. Which at the end of the day, he's still been very good this year. So I think overall, this team is going to continue to do what they do best, which is the short passes, quick passes, and then taking shots because they're actually kind of explosive offense down the field right now with Tyquan Thornton, which is fun to see.
Yeah, and Tyquan does have the speed to get behind Wiggins. It's just he's got to survive the first 12 yards of the route to get to that point.
Yeah.
So it does take that pull everybody down so that you can go to the deep one. I hope that works. We'll have it all broken down for you on the game plan on Friday, so don't miss that, folks. Seeing a masterful game plan by Spags doing a 3 safety split And we're surprised. Were you surprised? I'm guessing is what you're asking me, Bradley. I was happily surprised because they let Chamari do what he does best. Jaden was doing a little bit more. And as much as Jaden is a box safety coming out of college, I think he might have the most potential to be an everything safety, to be what he always wanted Dan Sorensen to be, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, and he's bigger and he can do more of that. Just I mean, he's a little bit bigger, not like a ton bigger. Dan was still like 6'2", so he did a lot more from that spot too. But I think what we are seeing from Spags is trying to change with what you have. You're seeing that, well, we don't have everything we thought we did, and we're seeing guys do better in this situation, in this role. CRW kind of played very well, and maybe not what he expected from a guy who was UDFA. So you get guys out there in different positions and you see what they can do. And I think that they're just seeing, okay, we can put this guy in this role and he'll be good. We can put him over here and we can take Chamari Connor, who we love that he can be run support type of nickel. But right now he might just be better filling from depth. Like that just might be his role.
Yeah, I agree. And that's fine. It's all right. Tommy, thank you, buddy. We appreciate you. Nevis, thanks for getting in here. I know a couple of you guys are arriving late. I think Cody's in here late too. So nice to see you all. We did answer a ton of questions here. Got a couple other little quick hitters we'll ask. Where did it go? Was going to say this. Trick plays. Did they really deceive a defense? They can if you prove that they work of what you're trying to deceive them at. You know what I mean? So like they can run some game now with Tyquan Thornton because he's beaten teams deep. Now you can do some stuff off of it.
Yeah. Once you do something on tape and you consistently show that you can do it, you can build off of that. Like you can do that. And that's what the trick plays used to be. The Chiefs offense were so good at this one thing or that one thing, and then they built something off of it, or they did something that made eyes move. And that's what you're always looking for. You're trying to trick the eyes. That's all trick plays are. You're trying to make eyes go one way and then go the other way.
It's like a magician show, just show them something shiny, do something else behind their back. Terry, thanks for the question. CJ Gardner-Johnson got released today. I'm not sure why. I don't know how much he's got left. What do you think?
Absolutely not. I'm good.
That's a hard pass from that one, folks. I think that's it. Need to trade for an RB. Again, if you get Smith going, I don't think you have to. It's going to be all right. And then Lone Wolf. Why doesn't our offensive look like the Lions' offense? Well, because Andy's stubborn. It's going to be what it is.
They don't have their guys.
And the Lions need to survive a season and make it to Super Bowl before I care. So.
Yeah, right. Like that's what you have to do.
All right, that's it for us, folks. Thanks for being here with us. We very much appreciate it. You like and sub if you don't know us already. For all of you that supported us tonight just by being here, or the super chats or the memberships, thank you very much. Sorry it was a day delayed. I'll have something for you coming up later in the week. Dan's got film like we always do. So we are rolling. Have a great night. And Dan, thank you for the time and dealing with me being very, very, very late.
Of course. Just thought we'd get our thoughts out there, you guys. Appreciate y'all being here tonight.
Night all. Be good.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.